project management. And now we know that the construction project management, apart from the construction, the project management is not a new term. Already it is coined in 1956 by Ishikawa and Juran and Hawthorne. Like that, by different people, it has coined already. Now, in order to know that project management is successful in automobile manufacturing and production industries, whereas by the research and the literature, it is known that implementing that project management in construction will give a greater customer satisfaction, and also it will give the positive outcomes for the firm. And now, after knowing that the project management is also to be applied in construction, now let us see what is meant by project management. How do we define that? Already the Project Management Institute has defined. Before going to the project management, let us see what is meant by project and what is meant by project management. Now coming to the project, this definition belongs to both manufacturing and construction companies. As per Project Management Institute, it defined project as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or service. And they said that it is unique and novel, and it is specially aimed at certain goal and specific finishing date. Right, that is called project. And now coming to the project management. Simply we can say that project management is nothing but managing the resources over the life cycle of the project. That means during construction of the project through various tools and methodologies. Right, what is the tools and methodologies we are using? Right, we are using different methods of construction, advances in construction, advanced equipment in construction. Right, that leads to be controlled by scope, cost, time, quality, etc. What is scope actually? It is nothing but the aim, right? The foreseen, which we used to think about it. And cost. Already we know that during in construction, majorly uh, the construction are taking time. During that time duration, the cost is overrunning. Cost overrun is happening. Right? We must see due to the project management, we must control the cost and simultaneously the time and also the quality in all aspects. Now, next to that, we can simply define the project management as organizing, controlling, planning, organizing, controlling, and measuring. Right? Coming to the planning. Right? What is meant by planning? Project management planning. What is that? Initially, it involves beforehand. That means the initial stage of the project. Right? What are the various terms involved? Means what to do, when to do, how to do, and what is going to do. Right? What is going to do it? Right? Who is going to do it? That is what we are doing here. For example, the planning in construction sector senses that we have different tasks in construction. That initially the plan of a building, then the design, then the construction. That all of these things must be as per the schedule. Right? That is called planning. Now coming to the organizing. Organizing in the sense what is to be done next. Right? What is to be done before and after any task, that they are in a orderly fashion. And controlling, that controlling in the sense controlling cost, controlling time, controlling resources, controlling the material wastage. Like that we used to control everything over that. Now measuring is very important in both manufacturing, production, and construction industries. Why? Because the growth of a firm majorly depends upon measuring sector. Now, after designing any product, we used to measure it, or we used to we it will be used, and it will be checked for its use. How it is how it is to be used, how we are using it, how it is performing. Right, like that in construction also. Once the construction is completed, that we must check whether the construction which is done is as per the quality, right? Whether it is satisfying the customer, whether we have reached our goal after after the completion of construction, right? They are all the measures. And now coming to the next step, it is for any firm to manage the things, a project manager is very important. Now, let us see what are the various roles of project manager. Coming to here, first thing is project management planning. Right? What is that planning? Just before we have seen what to do, when to do, how to do, who is going to do it, right? Like that, first we'll plan accordingly. And cost management, right? The cost estimate is done, right? As per that estimate, we have to go through that in case of any additional charges are reduced charges, we must know that we must manage accordingly. And time management, we must frame a schedule and we must complete within that time. And quality management, quality plays major role in every aspect or in every industry. Right now here in construction, that we must check the material quality first, very first the planning, right? Whether the planning is done as per the standard specifications. For example, the size of the room, right? The size of the room, the thickness of the wall, like that. The setbacks, right? We must follow the standard specifications, and then there it is also a quality. And then the design, right? We must follow some codes, right? And similarly, after the during construction, the material will be checked for the highest standard specifications. And then after construction, we must measure as per the drawings whether this construction is done or not. These are all come under the quality management and contract administration. Nowadays, build bid designs majorly. What are they means? First, the one construction company used to design that, plan that, and design that, and they will give contract to some other, right? That bidding system, and that contractor will take up the construction to complete it. Right now, here, after the contract administration to be taken care by project manager only. Then safety management. That inside in few cities we used to observe during construction they used to cover entire thing what they are constructing, because in order to avoid any accidents and to make the people conscious who are working over inside the building, right, they used to cover entire thing what they are doing. We don't know what they are doing inside, like that. And then construction management. Now here, construction management professionals in the sense, we used to manage team who are working over the project, and we used to allot the roles for the different people and along with their responsibilities, right? Like that we have to go through. Now, after knowing about the role of the project manager, then we'll go with project management phases, right? Initially for every system, we know that the project management is a systematic thing, right? It is also having some different phases which is specified by Project Management Institute. These project management phases may resemble both industry and construction in both manufacturing and construction industries. Now, the very first step in project management phases are initiation. Right now, for example, some customer has came with some project to us. They'll give the task for us. First, we need to observe that, and we need to see whether it will add value to the company by doing this project. That is called evaluating the business case. And is it worth undertaking? Is that project is feasible to take up? That we have to test everything upon the project. Then only we'll say okay to the customer that will take up the project. Right? That is at initiation phase. Right? Project initiation document first we have to create. Right? That we can call as project charter, which includes both business needs and customer needs also. Here, Simply we can say that initiation is nothing but the inquiry about the project, whether it is feasible, whether it is worth taking to undertake, or whether we can satisfy the customer if we take up this project. That is called the initiation. The next phase is planning. Right, coming to the planning simply we can say will give the roadmap to the things. That is project management planning. That means it will guides the execution process and controls, right? Controls, and it will sets the baselines for scope, cost, and schedule. And here, under planning, sub terms are there. First thing is scope statement and scope documentation. Here, what is that means? That scope statement and scope documentation defines whether that undertaking project will give us the benefit. Is it a business need? And what are the difficulties we can face? And what are the objectives to be done to have to set? Right? There are scope statement and scope documentation. Then work breakdown structure. Depending upon the scope are the aim, scope for future, aim of future. Right? That depending upon the scope, we have to see the visualization of the project before construction and what are the manageable tasks, that is chunks we have and we have to do. Here work breakdown structure, simply we can say the entire work of the project should be broken down into number of pieces and that will be organized specifically. That is called work breakdown structure. Then communication plan. Communication plan is nothing but simply will communicate all the terms in the construction to all the employees in the industry so that misunderstandings or conflicts can be avoided about not only the works, about the tools we are using, about the methods we are using, about the material we are using. Right? This is simply to avoid misunderstandings or conflicts in between. Now, the next thing is risk management plan. Right? In case of any risks, for example, if it is like a huge structure or irrigation structure which is to be constructed in some of the forest areas, then there will be definitely a risk due to the animals. Or as it is a huge structure, during construction, there will be many risks that will be identified and we have to take up the safety measures for that risk. Right? And that must be included in time and cost estimates itself. And also, in case of any potential budget cuts, shifting requirements, that material shifting we need to do and equipment shifting we need to do, and also resources. Sometimes the resources will be, the utilization of resources will be exceeded than the committed. Then will come across the shortage of resources. Right? All of those things must be planned before. Right? We must estimate properly. We must look after the safety and we must take all the safety measures. That is called risk management plan. Now the execution. Right? For initially the execution starts with the meeting, the finalized meeting. That is after allotting the different objectives or different tasks to the different people in a team and the material purchases, assigning resources, and also implementing project management plans and then setting up tracking systems. I mean, tracking system in the sense we used to track the work. For example, we have scheduled for laying foundation, we have scheduled it for 10 days. That we used to track that work daily. How much we have completed, what is the work left over to be completed, like that, the tracking system. And updating the project schedule, right? That means we are updating what is the work completed. We used to maintain a document for that. And in during construction we used to face some difficulties of construction. If there is such difficulties, we must look after the modifications of the plan if necessary accordingly with the difficulty and need also. And then the next step is performance and monitoring. Once the work is completed, then Performance and monitoring will be done concurrently. Why? Because if one work is completed, for example, the foundation is completed, then that foundation will be monitored first, that whether they are as per the design and plan, that as per the drawings or not. And then uh, the progress of the work must be measured. For example, in project schedule, we used to give the entire project will take 6 months like that. Right? Within that 6 months, whether we are completing or not, right? That is called the measure of progress. And then the performance also. Performance we can't measure we can't measure during construction. Once the construction is entirely completed, then only we can go with the performance measure. Then the next thing is ensures whether the work is going on in line with project schedule or not. Right? That is called the last step in performance and monitoring. Then closure. Right? Once the monitoring is over, then the construction is completed, then we'll look after to mark the conclusion. What is it means? Once the construction is completed, we'll look after and we'll check in case of any deficiencies, and then we'll say it has completed. That is called conclusion. And we'll check it back whether we have achieved the objectives. That initially we used to have the scope statement and scope documentation. Right, that must be achieved. Whether we have achieved the scope or not, then what we used to have different tasks in construction. We used to check all of them back. Right, punch list of tasks, whether we have completed all the tasks mentioned in the schedule or not, and then the final budget, and then in case of any issues during project like that. Then now up to now, we have seen the various steps, that various phases mentioned by Project Management Institute. Now, we'll see the various steps involved in construction project management. Previously, that project management may refer or may belongs to both construction and manufacturing or production industries, but now it is specifically belongs to construction project management. Now the very first step is bidding, right? Designing. What is designing? Before designing we have some tasks. What are they? Here, before designing we have, once the customer is approached the manager, he will take up the necessities or the requirements of the customer. After taking up the requirements of the customer, then he will plan. He will give all that requirements to the planning session. Once the planning is done, then we'll move on to the design session. Right? Designing is simply, we can say, giving dimensions or finalizing which type of material to be used for the construction along with the dimensions. Right? That is called the design. Now after designing, then we'll go with the bidding process. Nowadays majorly design build systems majorly. That is design structural associates are for some people, and then the constructors are some other, that means contractors. Now engineers first assess the feasibility of design based upon the regulations. That means there are standards, there are specifications, whether the design must satisfy the specifications or not. If it is an RCC design, we can make use of IS 456, and also for the loads, IS 875 part 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, like that. Whether the designed things are resembling or satisfying the specifications or not, that must be first assessed. Right, then as per the customer requirement, right, whether we have satisfied his requirement of number of rooms, and he will give some space for us, and the size, that is some space and size of the building is different. That means building area and plinth area are different. site area and building area is different. Then, as per the requirements, whether we have satisfied them or not, then once that is over, the next thing is researching about the type of equipment and material needed. Right? That means nowadays, if we observe at cities, big cities, concreting is almost done by RMC plants only. Whereas in small towns, we can look after the masons will mix up the concrete and then they are placing it. Right? Depending upon the place and feasibility and availability, we need to decide the type of equipment and material needed based upon the budget we have. And then the next step is pre-construction. Right now, after designing and checking for its specifications, that will be given to the contractors. Then the contractor should mix up with the project team, including all the contract administrators, contract administrator, project manager, field engineer and superintendent engineer. All the team must involve and they must do the site examinations, test soil, identify any feasible unexpected situations like environmental challenges. Right? Nowadays the geology is playing major role. Right? That means the study of earth, study about the earth, fault zones, fault zones, landslides, like that we have to look after all of them. Right, that is why we need to do the site examination. Of course, the site examination is done before the designing is done. Right, for in order to know the soil bearing capacity and all, to design the foundation and all. Even though it is done, it is necessary to check it back again in case of any faults and all. And that is a pre-construction stage. Then coming to the procurement. What is required to be procured? They are called we need to purchase equipment for the construction, materials, and we need to gather the labor, right? And we need to buy everything required for the completion of project. The purchase depends upon the size of the project and also size of the company and also complexity. If it is a national construction company, they'll require they have separate procurement departments. They look after all the procurement things. If it is a small construction company and small project, and here the the project manager or superintendent will buy the limited quantities of materials from local suppliers and hire the local labor. So it depends upon the type of project and type of firm also. Right, the procurement. And then next we'll move on to the construction. Now, in case of construction, before going to the construction, the head of the industry will taken up or arrange a meeting between subcontractors, material vendors. Why? Because to set up the proper rules. For example, in case of subcontractors, what are the rules to be delivered to the subcontractor? They must be proper in construction. Right? They must construct as per the design, as per the drawings submitted are the drawings given to the subcontractor. And coming to the material vendors, what is the things to be dealt with the material vendors? We are purchasing the materials as per the specifications. We need to check the material and the data to be submitted, which is submitted by the material vendors, that is suppliers. After that, we need to set all the rules, ground rules. You must maintain quality of materials as per the specifications. Even during construction also, the material quality will be checked by the superintendent or quality control department. That is the ground rule for the material vendors. And coming to the subcontractor, you must construct the things as per the drawings. And now, once the meeting is held, the team is ready to start the construction and complete all the activities like the storage facilities, securing the site, and developing a material and handling plan, safety programs, and more and more. And then, after all this, the team begins construction. Once the construction is completed, commissioning stage will begin. Here, usually two phases are there in the commissioning process. First thing is the project team, for example, in modern construction buildings, for example, if we take a residential building, right nowadays we have a water line and we have a gas pipeline, water main pipeline, and electricity. Right, and also for that we do have some sensor systems also, a fire system, fire extinguishers, like that we need to check all of those equipment whether they are working properly or not before making use of them. Right, first task once the construction is completed is this thing. They need to check all the things whether they are working correctly or not. Then the next task is this team must train to the customer, that is the owners of the particular construction project, about the operation and maintenance of the systems in the building. Right, one is they must check all the equipments they are whether they are working correctly or not, and the second thing is the team must train the owners personally. Now coming to the owner's occupancy. Now once the owners are moved into the new building, the warranty period starts. Of course, in many times, construction is not having any warranty. We are not giving any services. Simply, we can say that it is durable like that. But in project management, it is necessary to have warranty also. Here we have two types of warranties. First, before going to the warranties, the owner must ensure whether the materials, equipments, and building quality meet the expectations outlined by the contract, that is the project manager, and also the requirements of the customer must be satisfied. Once that is ensured, there are usually two types of warranties. One is express warranty, that is itself is written and included in the contract itself, and the other is implied warranties. What are they? Means they are established by the law. For example, in case of electronic goods and all, the law implements they must have a minimum warranty of 1 year. That is called established or required by the law. And some products is having only 1 year, and some other products are giving 5 years warranty. Like that, 1 year is minimum for every product that is manufactured, but 5 years is depending upon the company. That is express warranties. Now coming to the project closeout, once it is handed over to the owner, right, then the final phase is, in case of any deficiencies in the building, they'll satisfy the customer completely. That means they'll tie up all the loose ends. Right? For example, if the pipe is blocked, that will be rectified. Right? Next thing is contractual obligations, if any, to finish the project, that will be finished. And create a project punch list if any tasks are not accomplished. That means once the schedule is done, they'll be accomplished. Once the project is taken up, we'll aim with a scope document and scope statement whether that aim is accomplished or not, and will conduct post project review. Once the project is completed, they'll review entire project and also documents lessons and difficulties and any archives of project document, and this will be done and they'll finally prepare a project completion report. That is called the project closeout. Now, once the project is completed, these are all the construction project management phases. Here, organizing and scheduling in construction project plays a major role. What is meant by organizing? It is the step-by-step process. I mean, the step-by-step tasks. The order of the tasks will be determined. And scheduling is the duration of the tasks will be determined. Once we attain invoices, blueprints, the drawings and specifications of all the construction, then we'll go ahead with organizing one after the other. And we'll identify any complexities over there. Always organizing is a key for the schedule, to stay in schedule. Why? Because once if we know which work is to be done when, then only we can schedule it properly. Right, this is about the organizing and planning. Now, in depth, coming to the organizing strategies. Right, we do have some sort of strategies here. They are, the very first one is the record management. That means the record management includes the distribution, storage, the project records, both hard and soft copies and all. Everything that is related to the project is recorded. Right? Documentation, it is nothing but a documentation. Then here, manager will take up a great lead in incoming and outgoing of documents. Even that documents must have some a register to be maintained, whether they are here or at some other place. And in order to track them, it is better to use some softwares also. That is called the record management. Now coming to the contract procurement planning, another term in construction project management. What is that means? Here, once the contract is given, then the contractor have to think of about the procurement activities that fits the plan. Here, some of the tasks are setting expected contract price. Right, we have finalized to some price in the contract. With that price, we need to buy all the material required for the construction. Right, that is called setting expected contract price. Now, creating scope of work for each contract. What is that means? What is the scope of work means? Our scope is simply, we can say, the future aim, goal. Right? That is simply, we can say, the project completion is our scope with some standard, with the standards and specifications. As per that, we have to go. As per that scope, the contractor has to work. Right? We must initiate that contractor must be aware of that specifications and the scope of work and all. And the next thing is standardizing procurement documents and any other necessary documents. Right? We must standardize in the sense we must maintain it properly. That means sometimes in case of unavailability of the record, we used to make a note over it in the paper. If we lost that paper, that record is lost. That must not be there. We must maintain a standardized procurement documents. And the next thing is we must note down the completion dates also along with the schedule. For example, we have laid the framework, that is construction of beams and columns, beams and columns, that has taken up nearly 30 days means, for a huge structure if we consider 30 days means, that is project schedule. We have scheduled it for 30 days. But in practical sense, if we construct it, we have finished it in 20 days only. Right? Even that must be marked over there. The completion date must be known. And then, now here, once that is over, the next term here is commissioning plan and list. Right? What is that means? Commissioning plan is the work is taken up, the construction is going on. Right? It started early in the design phase and continuously updated as the project progresses. Right? Commissioning process during construction in the cells. What is its requirement means? We used to observe the schedule, the roles, the responsibilities of different members in the team, in the project team, and in case of any unapproved documents, we must go for approvals and the coordination in between the team to complete the project successfully. And here we can say a systematic process to ensure that building perform according to the design and the owner operational requirements. Right, that is called commissioning plan and list. Then the next thing is project control process. Right, what is meant by project control process means tracks and manages the scope. What is it means? Tracking is we are looking at the progress of the work up to how much the construction is completed, what is available to be done for the, what is the requirements to complete the construction, and the cost schedule of a construction project. Everything is tracked. And what is the aim of this project control process means? It will track the performance, it will track the progress, it will track the team members and their tasks, and it will monitor any changes, and it will absorb any effects. Right? That is the major thing involved in project control process. Then coming to the project, next term here is project requirement definition. What is it means? Any document related to construction details the project, and project requirement definition defines, the project manager explains the scope of the work and what the project will accomplish. That simply we can say that what is the aim of doing this work, what is the benefit of doing this work, what can we accomplish, I mean what can we achieve if this project is completed. That is project requirement definition. Whether it will help stakeholders, team members and external parties to all understand the goal of the project and acts as a record of initial expectations. Why this project requirement definition is required? In order to educate all the members involved in the project and to make them to realize the importance of that project and to meet the expectations of the customer. Right? That is the major aim of using this project requirement definition. Now, as-built drawing. It is also one term in construction project. What is this as-built drawing means? Initially, once the design is completed, the contractor is given some sort of drawings in respect of the project. But during construction, there might be some sort of changes. Maybe it is due to safety or due to the needs of the customer. Some sort of changes will be there over the drawing when compared to the initial drawings. Right? These are edited drawings that will be that will reflect the changes in the end of the project, that will reflect all the changes in the project. Due to this as-built drawings, it will provide quick visual existence and capture deviations from the original documents. The difference between initial and final documents are drawings that will be noted in as-built drawings. Daily documentation. This is very, very important in case of project management. That means keeping diaries, logs, and daily reports of project activities daily that will act as a reference guide for us in future. How it is means, for example, in case of any difficulty we have faced during construction, that if we note that, that will serve as a reference for the future problems. Previously we have done like this for that problem, so we can deal in the same way now also, like that. That it will serve as a reference, and we came to know how that problem is answered, how it is solved. And finally, the working drawings are created, and projects, final specifications and illustrations that builders used for construction and that contractor add to their bid. Here, everything is documented right from the customer approach to the project manager to handing over the project to the customer. That is called daily documentation. Scheduling strategies. Of course, the scheduling is very important. Scheduling, simply we can say, scheduling will be done easily by organizing the documents, organizing the different works involved in the construction. Here, once you have everything stored in a certain location, you can build out your project schedule. Right? Before building the project schedule, what are the various things to be stored? They are the plan, the design, the drawings, and various construction tasks. For example, what are the various tasks in construction? First, the layout, and then the excavation, the foundation, then the plinth work, then the beam framework, beams, columns, and slab, then the masonry, then the paint, then the plastering, and then the painting. Like that, like this, different tasks are there in the construction. Once, if we know what are the tasks involved in that construction, then we can build out the project schedule. We can say a well-defined schedule is a structured approach to planning, identifies problems before they arise, forecast cash flows, and assess resources requirement. That means once the design is completed, we came to know which type of material is required, and we came to know what is the investment required to complete the construction. Like that, we came to know everything in advance in order to schedule it. Now, coming to the different scheduling methodologies. The very first one is Gantt chart. That is schedule. Here, Gantt chart, simply we can say that it is a bar chart. That construction project basic method of project scheduling. Here, how do we schedule the things means, based upon the different tasks available, we can name the tasks and we can give the duration of the task. Based upon the duration, we'll fix up the dates, that is starting date and ending date. Right? Based upon this, can be represent, based upon this, the scheduling will be done and the work will be progressed. And these are generally represented by bar charts. Then the next type of scheduling strategy is critical path method. That in critical path method, it is a widely used technique, scheduling technique, where here we can identify the critical path. The critical path is the minimum time taken by the project to complete. Right? The fastest way to complete the project will be identified. And Construction project management reduces timelines, manage resources, and compare planned with actual. Here, this CPM usually refers timelines in the sense we used to keep some duration for the completion of the work, specific task, and managing resources in the sense the resources which are available, we must manage the resources in the sense we must avoid the wastage and we must make use of that resources available in an optimistic way and uh, comparing the planned things with actual. Then the another strategy is line of balance. That this type of line of balancing scheduling strategy can be used for repetitive works. For example, a road construction. There we used to take initially if it is a surveying work means we used to take levels, go on, and then cutting, and wherever cutting and filling embankment is required, we used to do that based upon the requirement. That is a repetitive work. There we can use this line of balancing technique. And this type of technique control process for collecting, measuring, and presenting facts related to time, and all of these terms measured with specific plan we have. Here it can allocate resources for each task so that the other task will not be delayed. Right, like that the line of balancing system will be go on. Then another type of scheduling strategy is queue scheduling. What is that? It generally addresses the sequence of activities and also the relation between activities. How the relation is established? For example, if it is uh, in construction, if it is a we need to complete foundation means first we need to give the layout, and then we need to go for excavation, and then we need to give then we have to go for construction of foundation. That means the layout, excavation, and foundation are interlinked with each other. That is called the relation between the tasks, and it will estimate the total cost of finishing, and also it includes overall construction site, and it will prevent, for example, any other two activities are going on sequentially. That means that will happen at the same time, sequential in the sense at the same location. It will avoid that. Right? It will go with a in a sequential order, but not in a same manner, parallel, but not parallelly. It will go in sequential order. Now, this technique is very closest to the reality, and but the only drawback is more effort is required by the project manager to evaluate cost analysis. Why? Because here the things are in order, in sequential process. They are not parallel. And here we are establishing the relation between the different tasks involved. Due to that, due to the sequential works, the evaluating the cost analysis is required to be improved with higher effort. Then now, after knowing about various scheduling strategies, in project management, quality also plays major role. That's why it is required to prepare a quality control plan also in project management. Here, what is meant by quality control plan? The very first thing, once the planning is done, then we have to check the plan whether it is as per the specific standards or not. Right? For example, the minimum size of a bathroom, minimum size of a door, height of a door, width of a door. We do have the standards for all the specifications, for all the requirements in construction. We must meet all of those standards. Then manager have to play major role. Right? He used to evaluate the quality. Uh, he used to do it in a step-by-step process during auditing the project, revising and review the plan to find new problem areas. And also In quality control plan, we need to go for safety management also. Even for safety management, we do have many codes, building codes and compliance codes that must be followed with the knowledge. Then, once during construction, we must consider another thing also. What is that means? Anticipate and address environmental and neighborhood impact of construction. What is that means? What are the various effects of environment surrounding us during construction? For example, the dust and mud. Right, that is, during construction, it is a well-known fact that lot of amount of dust will be evolved, will be generated. Right. We can't do anything with the dust. The only thing we can take a safety measure with the dust is the people must have proper masks and proper gloves so that they should not be exposed to the dust. And coming to the mud, for example, if it is a sandy area or the clay area or mud roads, whenever the vehicle is moving over the mud road, there is some sort of dust will be evolved. That in order to avoid that evolution of dust, we can sprinkle that road with some water. Right, that will our entire construction site will be sprinkled with a little amount of water so that the dust will not be evolved, and the mud, of course the mud will be there if the water is there, but the water must be in an optimum way. Then stormwater pollution. What is that stormwater pollution? During rainy season, if the rains are heavy, if the raining is heavy, then it will lead to runoff. That runoff, if that runoff is also heavier, we used to place some equipment over the land during construction. Right? We won't keep them in a safe place many times if it is at ground level. Right? Due to this runoff, there is a chance of getting uh, this equipment to be moved along with the water. And also, if the cement bags are stored in some place or we are mixing concrete, the raining is done, the runoff is there. Due to that, it will the concrete quality will be reduced. All the cement will flows off. Right? That will pollute actually. Then endangered species. For example, if we are constructing any construction in forest areas, along with human, there are different species. During construction, we must safeguard that endangered species also. And then coming to the vegetation. Vegetation in the sense, if it is a garden or if it is a agricultural land, if we are constructing that, if we are constructing in that area, we must have an alternative with that. If we are taking up this agricultural land, we must give that vegetation in some other land, or we have to go with some alternate. That in order not to affect this vegetation, like that we have to consider. Coming to the wetland of course is not a problem with Indian culture. In US, America, like countries, they are keeping a higher specifications and standards not to pollute any wetland. They are preserving the wetlands. And then the next thing is historical and cultural facts. Coming to this historical and cultural facts, historical archaeological elements, if we get through any archaeological elements, we must safeguard them. Or else, if we look after any historical cultural artifacts, old museums or buildings or any tools they have used, we must preserve them, not to be destroyed. That is the thing. Now, of course, we have different strategies. Nowadays, we have many softwares also there for construction project management. They are Smartsheet, Buildertrend, CoConstruct, Procore, BuildTool, Econex, and PlanGrid. These are the different softwares. Now, nowadays, sustainability is a leading topic for all the researchers, engineers, for all the people in the society, for the human race, we can say. What is that sustainability? Right? That is simply we can say we must sustain even in the worst condition. Coming to that in construction, green construction, that is energy efficient, eco-friendly construction must be there. Eco-friendly in the sense, for example, during concreting or during concrete mixing, the process of hydration is going on, the heat is liberating. Along with that, during curing and all, the CO2 emissions taking place. That CO2 is leading a major defect for us nowadays. In order to avoid that, we can replace the cement with some different material, different eco-friendly material, so that the emission of CO2 will be reduced. Right? Like that, we must follow energy efficient methods. Instead of using artificial bulbs, electronic bulbs, we must make use of the sunlight for the building. Right? Like that, we must use energy efficient, and after once the construction is over, we can maintain the terrace gardening and also wall creepers also. Right? Like that, we must go green. Right? And that is the major thing what we require nowadays. Right? With this, the today's session is completed. From the session, the outlines are: construction project management basically concentrates on the planning, scheduling, controlling, organizing. Planning in the sense we are planning every task that is during the construction, and organizing which is to be done next, which is to be done before, prerequisites and post requisites of construction to be determined far earlier, and controlling cost, controlling time, controlling quality, everything must be there. And performance measure, once the construction is completed, whether that construction is satisfying the customer, that is satisfying the standards, specifications, and aim of the project team, whether it has reached its scope or not. It simply we can say the construction project management is managing everything that is involved before, during, and after construction. That is called construction project management. Thank you for hearing me patiently. Myself is N.R. Gautami. I'm assistant professor at Annamacharya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Rajampet. This is my introduction all about. Thank you.